you do to pull yourself out of a funk? Or how would you advise people to better deal with depression and anxiety or low mood?
I really think an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure with this. So I try to prophylactically have routines in place that seem to decrease the likelihood, including cold exposure, which for a long time was prescribed for melancholy, right? This is not new.
Well, like medieval times?
Like 100, 200 years ago. Like it was a prescription, cold baths for melancholy, AKA depression. So this is what is old is now new again. But certainly cold exposure, I would say without a doubt, having a consistent exercise routine, and something is better than nothing. Like the 0 to 1 difference between no movement and some movement is black and white. So even if it is just going for a 20-minute walk twice a day, if you have a very packed day, schedule your calls around your walks. Social time with friends, the group interactions, and scheduling those in advance. So on a yearly basis, I will block out. This is very important for me. And again, not obsessing on the daily routine, but thinking about the weekly, which we've discussed, thinking about the annual. So I block out multiple weeks every year to take trips with family and friends. And this is really critical for a few reasons. It's not just about the experience. You have all of the group threads and excitement and training and prep and fantasizing and that lead up to the trip. Then you have the trip, and then you have all the memories and the shared experiences and the misadventures and the mishaps. That you get so much juice out of these things, and those act for me as psychological safety nets. You always have something to look forward to. So let me build on that and say another piece of managing or mitigating or preventing low mood for me is having some identity diversification, which means you're not just doing one thing. If you have your podcast, your startup, your job as the sole barometer of your self-worth, there's so many factors outside of your control, or your investment portfolio, whatever it might be. If you are solely fixated on one thing, you're too vulnerable to black swan events or simply ups and downs due to variables that are outside of your control. So in contrast, if you have your Saturday workout, or you have your deadlift, you have rock climbing, you have archery, you have whatever it might be, in addition to your primary work, in addition to drawing, in addition to your relationship that you're trying to cultivate and deepen. If any one of those things is down, just like in a stock portfolio,
correct.
If they are somewhat uncorrelated, you can still have a good week. For me, generally, low mood, if we want to call it depression, it's not a first cause. For me, I would say it's typically some type of anxious rumination, worrying about something. I compromise my sleep because I have onset insomnia. Then I consume too much caffeine, which further compromises my sleep. And then after 3 or 4 days, that's when the low mood / depressive symptoms show up.
Yeah.
So anything that compromises sleep, I try to avoid.